14, and this is a day the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice and be glad in it. And I'm, as you can see, I'm here at the prayer cottage again, and I wanted to make a short video about something that has been on my mind to do, and the Lord reminded me that I needed to give my testimony more often, because if you don't use it, you lose it. And this testimony has to do with a pre-birth experience and a birth experience. I guess I should title this, I remember when I was born. I remember when I was born. I'm one of these people that just so happens to have a unique memory of that, and I do believe that's God-given. So I shouldn't. I should use it and let other people benefit from it. There could be others, many others, who also have that same experience. Now, I'm 57 years old right now, so I have to say that I actually, at this point, don't remember. Actually, I just remember remembering, if that makes any sense. I remember remembering when I was born and my pre-birth experience. And the way it came about was when I was in the first grade, I had a first grade teacher named Mrs. Presley, or Miss Presley. And, just like Elvis Presley, but I don't know if she was related or what, but Miss Presley at the West Side Elementary School, East Side Elementary School in Warren, Arkansas, had all her students in class one day, and I was one of them, and she was my only teacher, and she asked everybody a question, and Miss Presley was, I considered her an old person. She was old. I thought she was real old. Really, as a 6-year-old, you might think someone that's 65 is old. Well, she might have been younger than that. I don't really know at the time. But this was, I guess, 1963 when this was. And she asked all of her students, I guess because she was curious, or maybe she just wanted to have a fun exercise for us all. She said, I want to ask all of y'all, what's the furthest thing back that you can remember? What's the first thing you can remember? And, she went down the line. She went, alphabetically. I think she went alphabetically. And my name last name started with an H, so I had a little time to think about my answer to her question. And, little Susie might say, well, I remember when I was 2 years old and I broke my arm, and we would, oh, okay. And someone else would say, well, I remember this and that. And then when it came to me, I said, well, I remember when I was born. And everybody just started laughing at me, just laughing at me. And I started crying right there at my desk. And it was obvious to everybody that I didn't like being laughed at. I didn't like it, and first time I'd ever been laughed at. I think, it just didn't feel good. So Miss Presley told everybody to hush up and leave Tommy alone, and that's not polite, and shouldn't be laughing at somebody. And then everybody quit laughing. And then she waved me up to the front of the room to her desk, said, "Come on up here and talk to me, Tommy. Come here." And I did, and walked on up there, and she had me sit in her lap, and she told everybody, "Now don't be laughing at Tommy, because he, just you don't laugh at people. That's just not polite. It's rude. You hurt someone's feelings. And look here, you done hurt Tommy's feelings. And then she said, well, now, Tommy, you don't really remember when you were born, do you? And I said, well, yes, I do. She said, really? Are you serious? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, tell me, just tell me why you think you remember when you were born. And I remember telling her that, well, I remember this long, just endless period of darkness where there was just nothingness. I don't think I knew the word void at that time, but then I related it later, I think, to the word void. This long, dark, endless, peaceful, secure void where there was no time. I didn't, it was existence, and there was consciousness, but there wasn't anything particular. And then all of a sudden, there was light. There was light. And she said, oh, that's interesting. Well, go on back to your desk, Tommy. And that's all I told her. And really, that's really all that it was. I do believe that I remember when I was in my mother's womb, and there was this just endless, timeless void, darkness, but a peace and security that, I had no, there was no real thought of anything. It was just, and then all of a sudden, light. And I do believe that was the birth experience. That right there was the birth experience, because, if you're in your mother's womb, and even if you open your eyes, you're not seeing anything. You couldn't. There's no light in there. So when people say stupid things like that children can't feel pain in the womb, and children, in the womb aren't able to do anything. Let me tell you something. To me, there was peace. The most peaceful place I can imagine. I'm hungry for that type of peace and security. I look for it, because that was the most peaceful and secure place that I remembering was when I was in my mother's womb. And so that's another good reason why we should fight with everything we have to protect children in the womb, because children, let me tell you something. I've never known real pain and terror and harm and injury and fear. I've never really known much of that at all. Some, but not much. But I cannot imagine the pain and terror and fear that must occur when these children are being pulled apart in their mother's wombs and killed and destroyed in this thing called abortion. So, I want this testimony out there. I am one of those who does remembering. Again, I'm 57 now, so I can't exactly remember, I don't think, but I do remember remembering, and I hold on to that. My 6-year-old testimony, where everybody laughed at me. I didn't even, after that experience, I didn't even want to speak out in public anymore, because I did not like being laughed at. It hurt. It hurt. So, but now that I'm born again, filled through and healed and delivered, and that with a mighty burning fire, I can't help but speak out regardless of what people think, regardless of if people laugh at me, and so a lot of people probably do. One lady the other day called me someone with some country ministry. I'm thinking, well, praise God. That's fine. That's fine. All right, well, that's my testimony of I remember when I was born. Can you? Do you? You might. I want to hear from you. Give me your comments. All right, talk to you later. Have a great day. This is a day.